Week number 2 as we get ready for first road trip of the season. Head down to Wapello. We'll have our preview of that here, brought to you by EMS Detergent Services. First, though, Jason, we like to look back just a little bit. 32-6 opening night win for the Bears, and I think we would all agree that it was a good win, but still a lot that we can break down and find areas to really improve upon as this team.
Good win, not a real pretty win, but a win is a win. In fact, those were Coach Hirschman said after the game, he goes, "I'll take any 32-6 win. I don't care what it was like." Defensively, this is usually ahead of the offense at this time of the year, and they were certainly ahead of the offense on Friday. But the offense did some good things. But certainly they've worked on some things that you could see behind a practice. Are working on some of it right now to shore things up. And you always improve the most between the first and second game. So hopefully that rings true for both sides of the football.
Well, and it was one of those, it was an odd night where it was super humid but not hot, but you started to see second half some guys were getting cramped up, slowing up just a little bit, and started to affect guys. I know Coach Peterson doesn't like talking about things like that. That's just an excuse, but situation where might repeat itself here this week. Forecast calling for a little bit warm and maybe some more rain, so could be an almost identical situation.
As you can see, probably our shirts are trying to soak through a little bit right now. It's rather humid right now because there's a storm about ready to move through. Cooling off, but you're right. On Friday, it looks like 83 right now projected for the high at kickoff with humidity around 85%. So I hope they've got the water. Hope they've got the bananas. Coach Peterson, I know he loves talking about make sure you're eating the bananas. Make sure you're drinking water, staying hydrated because
pickle juice.
It plays a factor, and specifically for a team at home, if they start seeing what if West Branch has some of those cramping issues. If I'm at home, the guys at home. If I'm Noah Holland at quarterback and I look over, I'm like, hey, there's some weakness over there. Maybe we can exploit that. Well, I just hope they're hydrated.
Well, you speak Noah Holland, quarterback for this Wapello team, who the Bears going to be facing on Friday night. Double overtime, 34-28 victory against Louisa Muscatine. They gave up 337 yards of rushing against L&M, but 339 yards of total offense because L&M runs that single wing, and they threw it 3 times in the second quarter, and that was all they threw it. But you're looking at this Wapello squad that, they're not maybe the biggest team, but they're going to be physical, and they're going to move really well. I saw that a lot on film.
Scrappy. I think usually when you see maybe not the 6'5" lineman, but the smaller, more fit linemen, they're a little more scrappy, and you could see that they get low to the ground. They get low on their blocks. Ricky Forts at running back is a strong runner. He had over 100 yards and 60 yards receiving to go along with that. And you mentioned Holland. So when you have a quarterback like West Branch, same thing. You got a quarterback throwing over 100, a running back for over 100. You can be balanced, and they can make some teams bite. They got out early in that game, Stephen, 14-zip, and then they gave up 22 unanswered. Score again with 11 minutes to go, get the 2-point conversion. It goes into overtime. They both score in the first overtime. Wapello Indian defense holds the Falcons, and then they score, and that was it. So they're both 1-0, and both of these teams need that. Wins are good for that RPI playoff system. I don't care who it's against, what it's against. If it's an overtime game or a 90-0 game, it counts the same. So teams are those are things that teams are looking for now rather than let's blow them out. A win is a win.
Well, and you figure, first road trip for the Bears, it's our shortest road trip of the season, only an hour away.
Yeah.
But, that always plays a factor as well because, you got to sit on that bus, you got to stay entertained, you got to get off the bus, get limbered up, get refocused, think about football. There's a lot of other distractions that can go in when you're on those road trips.
They are, and if you look back historically, when the Bears have gone to Wapello, the first quarter, the Bears may get out and score right away. For some reason, there's always that lull at Wapello, a little bit of a lull, evidenced by 2015, the last time these two teams played. It was 14-7 at halftime. I can tell you that halftime speech was very spirited, very, trying to pump the team up, and then it did. As I mentioned on the podcast earlier this week with Matt, West Branch scored 28 points in about 5.5 minutes in that game, en route to a 42-21. Koenig had 3 touchdowns. Lennox had 3 touchdowns. Hopefully they get off to a fast start. But you let a team in with that humidity thing again. If that plays a factor, let a team in, you start getting frustration. It starts building up with the humidity, and it starts breaking you down a little bit, and you get you more weak. Let's hope that doesn't happen this week.
Well, all the focus is going to be on just getting the points whenever you have an opportunity. And I know the Bears a little frustrated, maybe left a few out there this past week, but look to maybe execute a little more effectively and finish the fun, as Coach Ray Riesland used to always talk about with me when I was doing my radio days years ago. But we'll have all of the coverage for you. It's varsity only, 7 o'clock start time. We'll be on the air with the Bearcast. 6:30 is the pregame right here at westbranchfootball.com. Big thanks to EMS Detergent Services, our sponsor here for our weekly game previews. Visit them at emsdetergentservices.com and tell Dan and Julie Hayes a big thank you for all their support of West Branch football.